Seneca warns us of this. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. So let's think about that. How many times have we allowed an outside influence to take control over how we act and how we behave? Here's a hard truth for you. Life rarely ever breaks us from the outside. It's how we respond to it on the inside that determines how well people receive us, determines how strong we actually are. And so I want you to think about this. Every time you've lashed out, every time you've shut down, every time you've let your trigger own you, you have personally handed somebody the keys to your life. You've handed them the keys to being able to control you. And why do I say that? Well, it's because we're no longer in control of our reactions. And that's why I want to spend some time today to talk about 5 of the most common mistakes men typically make when it comes to managing their emotions. It's easy for me to say it because I've been that person, and I know some of you agree with that. But see, we're not going to just stop there. What I want us to do is I want to stop for a second and unpack how to spot them. Let's talk about what does it cost us in the long run and why is it so hard to escape it? Because until we learn to face that thing, we'll keep confusing survival for strength. We'll keep confusing survival for thriving. And so one of the first things that happen is we bottle it up. And what does that look like? Well, bottling up looks like you can be silent. You can become avoidant. And it's one of those things where you go around telling people that you're fine when the reality is you're not. You start to bury yourself in work and you begin to isolate and hoping that time will fix the thing that you're not willing to face. But a buried emotion doesn't die. That thing begins to ferment. And that pressure continues to build and build until it spills out into something worse. It shows up as anger, then sarcasm, and even physical issues. Like for me, I lose sleep and then I'm constantly stressing. You know, what feels like control is now starting to become a slow leak towards collapsing. And so why is this so hard? Most of us were raised with the mentality that real men don't fill in the blank. We don't complain. We don't cry. We don't show weakness. We don't show vulnerability. Vulnerability by itself is treated like a failure. So we learned very early on in life, at least I learned very on in life, that putting on the mask was the right thing to do. But then that mask becomes heavy and then it eventually cracks. And then you start to really see what's on the inside. Nobody wins when you bottle it up. Family starts to feel like strangers to you. Your team can't read you. Your family can't read you. And then you begin to shoulder the burden alone because it was never meant to be carried in silence, but you never said anything. You kept it bottled up. The second mistake that happens is we explode instead of expressing what's truly on our minds. And so you know what your explosions look like. Being super quick with your temper, cutting with the words instead of showing love with the words, slamming of doors, punching walls, long stretches of silent punishment. It's like the energy of a grenade that just gets tossed into the middle of a situation designed to end the moment, but in reality leaves everything destroyed in the process. And so what are the effects of that, right? Anger feels like it's so powerful in the moment because you want people to know how you feel, but it's deceptive. It breaks trust. It breaks hearts. It creates fear. It leaves scars. And many times those scars don't heal with apologies. And so, yeah, you may win the argument, seemingly, but you didn't. You end up losing respect, intimacy, and influence. Anger is fast and it's easy, but it covers up what you're really experiencing. So instead of facing what's beneath the surface, we just try to hide it. And so the people who will benefit from you in this situation are those who you love the most. It's not about getting the last word, because what you end up doing is you end up silencing the room and nobody really benefits from it. You're left feeling empty. Other people are left feeling lost. They're wounded. And then it's a cycle that continues to repeat itself and repeat itself and repeat itself. And one of the third mistakes that we make, the third mistake I would say that we make, is ignoring the emotional triggers. Like how do your triggers normally affect you? Like what are those repeated patterns? Do you find yourself constantly arguing with the same people? Do you find yourself clashing with that same roommate or clashing with that same person on the team, right? Experiencing those same things. When you identify them, that becomes predictable. You then start to notice what the cycle looks like. But then you start to convince yourself, that's just who I am. When you ignore those triggers, that's when they begin to control you. This is what he was talking about. They dictate, your triggers begin to dictate your behavior long before you even realize it. And then it robs you of your growth. It robs you of your peace. It robs you of your happiness. And more importantly, it robs you of moving forward. The person that refuses to confront their triggers is the person that's going to be living their life on repeat. But owning those triggers, it requires humility. It requires it demands you to stop pointing outward and to start looking inward. And that's uncomfortable. Because when you admit the problem is partly you, it's almost like you start admitting defeat. The trigger itself, that wound, that scar, that insecurity, every day is not addressed, it grows stronger and stronger and stronger. And then it begins to dictate your behavior. You think you're avoiding it, but in reality, you're just bowing to it. And that thing becomes your God. That thing becomes the thing that's controlling you. Mistake number 4, using numbing instead of healing. Numbing looks like you reaching for everything that you've been going to just cloud your mind or free your mind. It can look like alcohol. It can look like scrolling on the phone, binging shows, or throwing yourself into exhaustive work. It's the choice to avoid what hurts by drowning it in distraction. It's not truly identifying what it is. It's just, I'm going to run away from it as fast as I can. But numbing it never fixes the wound. It delays it. It buries it and it multiplies it time after time after time. What was a small cut in the beginning becomes an infection. And that thing ends up festering and getting worse, leading to broken trust. And when other people see your wounds, they don't even want to be around you. Just like, why are we not paying attention to that? And so when you face that pain, it takes a new level of courage because pain feels unbearable at times. So we want to take the easy exit. And society makes it worse by feeding us the endless ways to escape, turning avoidance to addiction. All right. But who needs us? Your family needs you. Your company needs you. Your children truly need you. Your team needs you. Not social media, not people who really don't matter, not your true circle. You lose in the process. Your family loses. And when you look at it from a workplace standpoint, the mission and the team truly do lose. And so the last thing I'm going to give you is one of the last mistakes is believing that emotions make you less of a man, because they don't. Your emotions, once again, are your body telling you that there's something that you need to pay attention to. And so you make the mistake when you dismiss the emotions as weakness and you mock people who are vulnerable. You joke away your own pain, right? You wear toughness like it's armor, but inside cracks are forming. Living this way is hollow. It's empty. You may look unshakable on the outside, but you start losing connection with the people you love the most, losing intimacy in the marriage, losing the depth of your friendships, losing honesty with yourself. You leave behind a legacy of silence instead of connection. And generations of men have been doing this. And I'm just thinking, when will it break? When are we going to break that cycle where masculinity equals silence, where masculinity is suppression, where masculinity is control? We've got to break that lie because it's betraying every definition of manhood, what it really is. I want to betray every definition of what manhood was handed to me. Holding on to it can cost you everything. The stereotype of the unfeeling man. But you gain nothing in that process. Real manhood is it's not found in denial. Real manhood is found in discipline. It's found in self-mastery. Having the courage to feel. Having the courage to find strength and lead with both your heart and your mind. When I think about what Seneca was saying, if somebody can truly provoke you, that's normal, right? But if you allow it to fester, they own you. And if you keep repeating these same mistakes that we've gone over, bottling it up, exploding, ignoring what's happening, numbing out, denying, you will spend your entire life being mastered by the very things you think you can control. But when you take ownership, everything shifts. You can reclaim your influence, your peace, your relationships. You stop reacting and you start leading. But you can't lead anybody else until you learn to lead self. This isn't weakness. This is strength at the highest level. Listen, if you've got value from this, please, I want you to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Elevation Requires Change. Share this with a man who needs it. And remember, when you master your emotions, you master your future. The world is dependent on you. Let's go.